All right, guys, diving into another video here. It's been a minute since I've made a video, so I really wanted to come and be thoughtful and really think through some really good information to help you start your own insurance agency, and this one specifically on how to hire virtual insurance agents or producers, team members to your office. This is a topic that I think a lot of agents are thinking about, well-established agencies, and there's a lot of reasons why it's super important to hire virtually or be able to even have that ability for your office to take things to the next level. So let's dive into it. All right, so first off, this is one of the most important reasons why hiring someone virtually is, or having the ability to hire a virtual producer or a remote employee for the agency is so important. The number one reason is you have a much larger pool of candidates to work for your agency. You're not just tied to your local 20-mile radius of your agency's office. Like here in LA, there's a bunch of great candidates, but expanding that out to all of California or even to an adjacent state that we're licensed in opens up our candidate pool significantly, and also the amount of candidates and employees out there that are just looking to work remote or have a hybrid position. It just opens up the floodgates and opportunities for higher quality team members and better producers in your business that are going to help take things to the next level. So it is super, super important to even just have that built structure and plan in place so that you can even offer this. It also makes your agency more attractive and a better place to work, but it is a big challenge because when you're in the office, you can hear people, you can see people, you can read their energy, you can see what they're missing in training and lacking in product knowledge, all these different aspects that are part of being face-to-face. Shout out to Kelly being here every single day. So yeah, those are really big things. There's a lot of benefits to having people in the office, but then there's also huge upside opportunities and potential for out of the office remote team members. So I'm going to dive into some of the most important aspects of hiring remote and virtual team members and things that I've learned, made a lot of mistakes, hired the wrong people, not put people through the right processes. And so let's dive into some of the tips here that are most important. Okay, so first things first, you need to have candidates. You need to have people applying to work for you, either through one of our main sources of people applying to work for us is just actually this YouTube channel. So if you're looking to apply to Adelfia, hit us up. There's a link that you can actually apply. So we are exposed. We're in front of people and they apply to work for us. So you need to have some exposure to people out there. The other options are LinkedIn, Facebook, Indeed. Indeed is an excellent one. That's where most people go to start to look around for jobs. You can throw little ads on there to promote your position and get candidates. So you need candidate pool. Like you need people to be applying to, reviewing resumes. You don't want to limit your options to like 2 people, 3 people. You want to have 30, 40, 50 people to choose from that are best fit for your agency. The next part of that is now that you actually have candidates, you need to have an actual hiring process. So what do you actually do when somebody applies and says, yes, here's my resume, I would love to work for you? Great. One of the things that we do right off the bat is we have a scheduled call where they call me. So we set up a time, we track all this very thoroughly, just like we would leads in our business. We track leads, we have a flow, we have a pipeline. Same thing with candidates for potential team members that we're hiring. We have them call me at a certain time. Let's just say Thursday at 10 a.m. That's the step 1, phase 1 of that pipeline. Did they call on time? That's the first thing we want to make sure. Can they even follow the first step of this process and do something on time? If they're late, they are disqualified. They are no longer a candidate for us. The next thing is once we have an initial screening, we make sure it's even a good fit for them. So we don't want to waste a lot of time. These are short screenings, short conversations. Then I tell them, hey, I'm going to send you over a questionnaire. This questionnaire asks some pretty in-depth questions. Why do you want to work here? And allows them to kind of sell themselves a little bit through an email. So that shows also their writing skills. We're learning a lot about them very, very quickly and not wasting a bunch of time either and sitting in a 1 hour, 2 hour interview in person or over Zoom, where that's just gobbling up my time. So we're really trying to make this an efficient hiring process. From there, if they're a great fit based on those two first steps of that process, then we actually send them a assessment where they will do a very in-depth assessment on service and sales specifically to the insurance industry. Hit us up if you want that assessment link. We have a referral code, and it is I cannot even believe I used to make hiring decisions without seeing some of these assessments. It tells you a ton about your team, and it's well worth the money. And hiring people is a massive investment, and making sure you see some of these attributes that could be red flags is really, really important. So the assessment, from there we do an official interview, and that's the interview where I dive into the red flags that I see on the assessment, some of the questions on the phones, the phone call screening, and then also their questionnaire that they filled out. I really try to narrow down and really kind of pinpoint some of those things that are red flags to me and to my office and to fitting in with the culture. So those are all very, very important things. From there, if needed, we do a second round of interview, and then we make our final decision also based on what the team also thinks about these candidates. So that is really, really important. So candidates, have a pool of candidates, have a hiring process, and then, once you do the interview, have proper interview and assessment tools at your disposal. The next thing that's really, really important that we've learned as well for hiring virtual people is making sure that they are comfortable working in a remote and a virtual environment. Like, they need to treat their home office like as if they are here in the office. That's one big mistake that I think I made in the past, is allowing people to just freely do whatever they wanted at home, and as long as they were making sales, as long as they were making calls, it was all good. That's not how it works. Just because you're remote does not give you the freedom to be messing around and taking off for a Monday and working off the beach on your laptop or laying on your bed. Like, we want team members to feel and treat their home office like they are sitting here in the office, like it's a real job. This is a real job, and we expect high standard for the people working remotely and virtually to treat this with respect as we would as if we were here in the office. Another really, really important thing is keeping one-on-one team meeting, first off, one-on-one meetings with your virtual team members so you can give them that personal touch training. It's very easy for people that are virtual or not here in the office to start to feel, distant from the culture and to feel disconnected. So giving that one-on-one personal touch, going through products, getting them really, really well trained, and giving them that time that they deserve and need is really, really important. Another thing is, now once you did actually hire them, obviously you need to make sure they're on payroll. There's a bunch of different ways you can go about this. Are they a salaried employee, hourly employee? Those are all very important things that you need to structurally decide for how to pay people, which I won't dive into because those are deeper things that maybe you need to discuss with a CPA. Then another thing really, really important is the actual onboarding process. Once they are hired, all their paperwork is done, salaried, hourly, however you're going to pay them, commission structures, all that stuff is an actual onboarding process. So not rushing into, let's just get this person quoting and making sales and not integrated in our processes is a massive mistake. I've let people loose way too early, and it's just turned into them doing it their own way, their own processes that did not align with the agency's standards, which eventually led to us feeling that disconnect also from the team member. We're basically saying like they're not fulfilling our needs, but that was ultimately my mistake up front. So those first initial 2 weeks are at the very minimum 2 weeks of getting somebody really onboarded, trained, understanding what our processes, our standards, how our systems work, especially for independent agents, because there are so many systems you're using. It's not just one beautiful Farmers, Allstate, State Farm, or whatever system that has all the bells and whistles all tied into one. You can cross-sell, press this button, it's super easy. We're using like 8 different platforms, We're working with a bunch of different carriers. We have a bunch of billing, different service backend needs. And so those are really, really important for them to understand and know how to do well and understand our standard as an office. So a robust training and onboarding program is essential. Do not overlook this part and don't rush into letting them just start quoting and selling. Really, and this also comes with time and building out your own processes. If you don't have those, you're probably not ready to hire someone. So make sure that those are all ready. Learned a lot of these things on the fly, made a lot of mistakes. So the reason I make these videos is to help you avoid these same mistakes and not lose a bunch. Ultimately, it's losing money. That's what these mistakes mean, is minus negative dollar signs. And so my goal here is to make people as rich as possible, as fast as possible. So that's the point. Don't start these without the right processes. Also, again, big shout out to Kelly because she has built a lot of those processes. Those are the main things. And then last thing, last but not least, is make sure they have a lead flow. Like, you can't expect these people to pop in and just start generating and closing all these magical deals out of thin air. You have to have a marketing plan. You have to have leads coming to them, an efficient pipeline, and a structure where you can actually see their progress, see the business that they're closing, track their calls and their talk time and these activities metrics and standards. You need to have a way to measure those and also providing them opportunities. Don't expect them to come in and just be some superhero to take your business to the next level. You need to figure out a lot of these things up front. So hopefully that does help you with if you're thinking about that, definitely listen to these tips if you haven't done it before. And I do believe this will help you a lot. If you do have any questions, sorry, I'm blowing up the phone over here. If you do have any questions, hit me up, chriscostantini.com. You can also hit me up. Actually, we just got a new phone number for me for Chris the Insurance Guy. If you want to actually text me, it's 310-496-6678. We'll pop that up here. Boom. You can text me now on that number, and I will actually be the one to be responding and providing more of like that consulting information if you do have those kind of questions. And also, obviously, always check out Tudo. Boom, Tudo, fantastic system. That's how we pass all these leads and build out pipelines and opportunities for our producers to make them rich. So highly recommend that as well. That's all I got. Hopefully that brought you some value, and we'll see you guys at the top. Peace.